Hello everyone, it's your Bud. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you why you need to watch Darker Than Black. Now, I got a comment earlier this morning asking me to talk and do a video about the first metahuman appearances in the My Hero Academia TV show, and the first thing that I thought of when I was thinking of mulling over this topic was a TV show called Darker Than Black. It's an awesome anime and it's one of my favorites, and in fact, it's one that I've been saving for a special video. Now, I'm only going to do a quick discussion here about why you should watch it, and in the future I might do a deep dive on the whole concept. So we're just going to go through and I'm going to give you just enough information that you're going to really want to know more and have to watch it yourself. I'm not going to spoil anything major here. I'm just going to tell you the basic details. So as I said, I will probably be doing a deep dive in Darker Than Black eventually because it is such a good show. The rules are just incredible in this world. But now let's get into this and I'll give you just enough information so that you'll be so curious you'll have to watch it yourself. Now let's start with the supers or metahumans of Darker Than Black, known as the Contractors. Contractors are individuals who have gained superhuman powers due to the appearance of the Hell's Gate and the Heaven's Gate. Now what are those? The Hell's Gate is a mysterious and chaotic area of space that appeared in Tokyo 10 years before the start of the series, giving rise to contractors and dolls, at the same time as the moon vanished and the real sky was replaced with a false one. Now, what are dolls? If contractors appeared when Hell's Gate did, then what is a doll? Dolls are emotionless mediums, which seem like poorly responsive but otherwise normal human beings. Dolls can use an observer spirit, a disembodied aura which can remotely access areas considerable distances from the doll, allowing the doll to observe what is in the area. Dolls have different mediums through which they can send their observer spirits and must be in contact with this medium while observing. For example, Yin's medium is water, through which she can send her observer spirit anywhere else. There is water. A really cool concept. So there's the supers, and then there's the, I don't know, I guess I describe them as almost like a witch or something that can, an elemental witch medium thing. I don't know, it's really cool. And now let's do Heaven's Gate and then we'll get back to the Contractors and you'll know why the Contractors are so cool. So as Hell's Gate appeared in Tokyo, the Heaven's Gate is a chaotic area of space that appeared in South America, with a majority of it in Brazil and the remaining area in Bolivia and Paraguay. Heaven's Gate and Hell's Gate are located on opposite ends of the globe. The appearance of the Heaven's Gate apparently started a large-scale war known as the Heavens War, in which Great Britain and Argentina participated. A number of contractors, including the characters Amber, Havoc, Hay, and Bai, were involved in the war and were adversely affected by the Heaven's Gate's sudden disappearance. The area where the gate was has become inaccessible. Heaven's Gate disappeared 5 years before the beginning of the series, along with millions of people and everything within a 1,500-kilometer radius of it, following high levels of contractor activity, including UB001 and BK201. Those are the names of characters. Contractors are given codes so that they can be tracked by the government, I believe. And a scientist who is guarding the gates believes that due to no person being able to enter the area where the gate formerly was, combined with a form of radiation still being detected there, means that the gate still exists in some form that is invisible and intangible. So I've mentioned a few characters. I mentioned things like BK201, which I believe is the code of the main character, Hai. And now let's talk about contractors and what makes them so awesome. Known contractors have a very wide array of powers, and each contractor appears to have a power unique to him or herself. When a contractor's powers are used, his or her eyes glow red and a blue glow occasionally surrounds his body. A star corresponding to them also shows increased activities when they use their power. And remember, there's a false sky. The moon disappeared, a false sky appeared, and now there's stars all over. And when a star glows bright, you can correspond that star with a specific contractor using their powers. After using their ability, contractors experience the need to perform obeisance, which is often bizarre, obsessive-compulsive payment for the use of their powers. So there's really cool things, like it could just be a completely random thing. I'm pretty sure one person has to smoke after he does his superpower. Another person has to count certain things in a row. Someone has to smell something afterwards every single time. It's like completely random, but I love it so much. The fact that a power can't be created without this like deep response that if they don't fulfill this response, then I think they just can't use their powers. According to one of the characters, Ima, the biggest difference between normal humans and contractors is the structure of their minds. She compares contractors to how some humans have succeeded by discarding emotion, but not their intentions. Contractors do not generally dream, though there are rare exceptions. So contractors are really, really cool. The fact that you have to do this task every single time. So imagine if in My Hero, every single time All Might did a smash, he had to go do 100 push-ups, and every single time he punched someone, he had to stop, do 100 push-ups right there in the middle of the fight, and then go and do a big smash again. Or if I don't know, if you can just imagine any superpower with any limit, and that's what makes it so powerful. They have limits on the characters. So these characters are connected to the Hell's Gate and the Heaven's Gate, and that's what made them gain their superhuman powers. There are dolls, which are emotionless mediums. Now the contractors are they're kind of emotionless and just go with intentions and not emotions. And then as well, the dolls have no emotions, but it's not that they chose not to have emotions, it's that they're just I think of dolls as being so elemental that the emotions that humans have would disrupt their, ability to send their spirit throughout their different mediums. For example, if someone could send it through the air and they were acting as a human, I don't think they'd feel that connection to the air. But if they were always connected to the air in some elemental form, then I think they would be seen as kind of emotionless humans that kind of were sort of just spaced out. That's the best way I can describe the dolls, is they're sort of kind of spaced out, but they're really, really cool of searching for things and finding things out. And then contractors, the fact that they can use their powers, but they have to do a specific thing. I think someone has to stack a few things in a little pile. Someone has to cut themselves with a knife in order to activate their power. There's anything that you can think of, but I really, really like that, because in so many shows, the only thing that stops certain people from using their power effectively is their internal strength. But with this, you have to know that in the middle of the fight, you have to use your power and then follow your obeisance. That is Obeisance. I don't know if that's a real word, if obeisance is something you have to be obedient to. Is obeisance an actual real word for the need to be obedient and an urge to be obedient? I'm not really sure. I've never heard obeisance before, but I really, really like that. And I love this description here that they're often bizarre, obsessive, compulsive payments for the use of their power. So as much as you can think of it as a need, it's actually kind of a payment for the power. And yeah, Darker Than Black is absolutely awesome, so go watch it if you want to see some awesome shows. Now, as I mentioned, this all came about because one of you asked me to do a video on the appearance of metahumans in My Hero, and I thought the best world to start with was one that had only had superpowers for about 5 or 10 years, and that's Darker Than Black. So the Gates appeared, there's only been about 10 years of superheroes when the show starts. So the starting organization of human society into a society that includes super people is really well displayed here. So I'm just going to go through a few different organizations to give you a broad overview of the world. You know about contractors, you know about dolls, and you know about Heaven and Hell's Gate. But what are the organizations? How does the world operate now? Well, there's the Syndicate, an organization which operates behind the scenes at many levels, right up to leadership roles in the police, government, and an organization known as Pandora. The Syndicate are the primary antagonists of the series, despite the group of protagonists Hai, Yin, Huang, and Mao all having worked for the Syndicate. There's the Public Security Bureau. The Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department Public Security Bureau is the police force serving the Tokyo area of Japan. They have a number of divisions and are investigating activity related to contractors. There's the Evening Primrose, or EPR, a powerful organization funded and run by someone named Amber. The EPR's public objective was to reveal the existence of contractors to the world. They also wanted to have special rights and privileges provided to contractors. Their main goal, however, was to stop the Syndicate and their plan. And now the organization known as Pandora, or the Physical Quantity Alternative Natural Deconstruction Organized Research Agency. It's a research facility in Tokyo dedicated to studying the phenomena of Hell's Gate. Remember, Hell's Gate is the Tokyo Gate. It is independently administered under the direct control of the United Nations. That's pretty cool. The United Nations got a place in Tokyo to study the gate. There's also the Secret Intelligence Service, MI6, the real-world British intelligence agency, and they're doing some dealings investigating the syndicate, and yeah, they're a big part of this story too. So yeah, the British have gotten in on this as well. And then the last organization is the Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication. The Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communication, or MIAC, has a Black Ops division known as Section 3, created 2 years after the attack on the Pandora Institute, and its goal is to eliminate any individuals or groups with links to the syndicate. Its present location is unknown. So there's a number of organizations, some fighting for human rights and the human rights of, well, metahumans or supers or contractors. And let me actually see, does the Evening Primrose, very interesting, special rights and privileges to contractors, but there's no mention of special rights and privileges to the dolls. Interesting. So there are people fighting for the good cause. There's the British just in there trying to do what they want. There's Ministry of Internal Affairs and Communications with Black Ops teams fighting the Syndicate. There's the Syndicate, which is kind of like this mob thing behind the scenes. There's Pandora, which is like the UN run, like, what do they call it? Physical Quantity Alternative Natural Deconstruction Organized Research Agency. So such a complicated name, you don't really know what they're doing there. There's the dolls that are these emotionless mediums that I feel are not necessarily emotionless, but their emotions are so connected to nature that they seem emotionless in the human term. But I think they need that emotional connection with nature and not with people in order for them to commune or to send their observer spirits. Now there's many different types of observer spirits, so it's really, really cool. Like the idea that you can just send a spirit through anywhere, through all these different places in the world, but the person that can send their spirit is a kind of emotionless one. So it's kind of like just having a security camera that's just saying, someone is here, they're doing that, I observe them, but there'd be no emotion in their voice. Like, so even if they're observing the most important, pivotal, key part of the whole story, they don't really have the same emotions as if a human was observing. There's the Hell's Gate, which was Tokyo. There's the Heaven's Gate, which was in Brazil and then disappeared. And even though some people think it might just be there in an intangible sort of sense, millions and millions of people disappeared, and there was a war over it as well. Let's see, who was a part of the war there again? It was Britain and Argentina were in the war, apparently. And let's see, Amber Havoc, High and Bai were involved. And yeah, a number of people were fighting, a number of contractors were fighting in that war over the Heaven's Gate. And then there's the contractors, which have their bizarre obsessive-compulsive payment for use of their powers, which I absolutely love. One of the people says he has it easy because all he has to do is smoke, but other people have these like really, really weird, really like completely specific things that they have to do. And it doesn't like, so if they're like, oh, my superpower is flying, therefore I have to do something that relates to it. It's not even related at all. It can just be a completely random obeisance. Now remember, that's what it's called, OBEISANCE. So go watch Darker Than Black, it's awesome, and one of the best things about it, I think, is the opening song. I used to love it. So I haven't seen Darker Than Black in years and years. It was luckily one of the very first anime that I watched when I started watching anime about 10 years ago. So I was very, very lucky to experience this when I was early on in learning about and watching anime. But yeah, go watch it. It's got a really, really awesome song. It's got awesome rock music. I love it, and the fight scenes are incredible. So as I said, I'm not going to explain the entire show, and I was saving this for a specific video. So this is a really good time to discuss why you should watch it, but I might save the deep dive for an entire different one because I absolutely love this show. The rules, the world, the organization, and the characters. I didn't even talk about Hai. Hai is like one of the coolest characters in anime that I've ever seen. He's one of my absolute favorite characters. He's just so complicated, and I can't even mention anything without sort of spoiling some things, or I don't know. So this is just a go watch it video. So yeah, go watch Darker Than Black. It's awesome. You will not regret it. If you're the type of person that's wanting to know details about things like My Hero, if you're one of those viewers on my channel who loves things like that, then go watch Darker Than Black. I'm going to be probably doing a few more anime on other superhero shows in the next few days as I warm up for my metahumans appearing in the My Hero Academia Macadamia World video. That one is going to be absolutely insane. When I get to that video, it's probably going to be a long one filled with lots of opinions and not much facts. So up until that video comes out, there's probably going to be a bunch of completely different animes with completely different superheroes. So go watch Darker Than Black and stick around for the next few days when there'll be more TV shows of other superheroes. And then eventually there will be a My Hero Metahuman appearance video. So thanks very much for watching. Leave this video a like if you want me to make the second Darker Than Black video. I can do a deep dive into this if you want to know more about the characters or the powers or things like that, but this is just enough to tease you and make you want to go watch it yourself. Subscribe for daily videos. I make at least one video every day, and I think you're going to get 2 videos today. And leave any questions or suggestions in the comments below, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching. Go watch Darker Than Black.